When you look to hire in your scaling organization, is sales competency something you look for across the board or only in specific departments?
Yeah, not across the board. I look for strong leadership. I look for an obsession with core values. I look for people that are vibrating when they read our vivid vision. But I don't think sales across all functions in an organization, like not necessarily in finance, not really necessarily in IT. Maybe if you're in the leadership role, like a VP or a C-level, you need to be good at selling to recruit people in and to work with other business areas and explain your ideas. But I think sales is critical on the ops side, on the customer engagement side, on the marketing side for sure.
I love it.
One other part on that, we actually built out a call center as part of 1-800-GOT-JUNK. We had 148 people on our call center when I was there as the COO, and that was one of the divisions that reported to me. And in building out the call center, we actually really recognized that there was probably 50 or 60% of our call center agents had to be salespeople. And then about 20 or 30% had to be customer service people that couldn't sell to save their lives, but they were truly there to assist the clients, to help the clients. But yeah, if it was a cancellation or an upset, it was always passed to a salesperson. And then on the management side, they had to be good at sales. But yeah, there was definitely a component that we recognized that we had to recruit for different kinds of people.
I'd be curious to know what would be the kind of first things you would look for when it comes to hiring someone to recognize their sales acumen.
A little bit of narcissism. A
Go on.
a little bit of good energy. You can tell in a group who the salesy people are, right? Because they just tend to capture the attention and the imagination of the people in the room. So what we do is we do a group interview where we'll interview 6 to 8 candidates at the same time, in person or over Zoom, to try to find out who vibrates like we need them vibrating. So you can kind of see who stands out as the top 1 or 2 people in the group. And then you bring those people in to see if they have the actual skills, but you're looking for the traits and the DNA. So in a group interview, you might say, what do you do for fun? Everybody answers the question. What are the biggest problems you've ever solved? Everybody answers the question. I rarely care about what their answers are, but I listen to their tone. I watch their body language. I watch the way they can engage. I watch their use of humor. I watch the way that they maybe match or raise the energy level in the group just a little bit. And you can just see it happening. I had one guy one time, we were hiring for a telemarketer, and I wanted to know who had telemarketing is a tough job. You get told no 99 out of 100 times. Well, in the group interview, I said, if we were hiring 2 people, you plus somebody else, who else in the group should we hire? And this guy, Frank, stands up. And Frank was this kind of little weaselly little dude, but he stood up and he's like, actually, you should only hire me. And then he bursts into this kind of comical review of the other 7 people at the table. Like, you can't hire Jason because his hair looks too perfect and nobody will take him seriously because of his French accent. And you can't hire Cameron because he's got too many gray hairs. And like he literally made jokes about each person, but the whole room was in hysterics laughing. And I'm like, dude, you fucking win. Like, because to be a telemarketer, you need to be able to build that quick energy. So we really looked for that. It was like, what was their energy like? What was their belief in our core values? And what was their belief in our vivid vision? And then the skills can often be trained, especially in the early people. But it's, who are the leaders? And then you can also look to see who are the ones that were the ringleaders, right? Who are the ones that got their friends together to go for drinks, or who are the ones that organized their friends together to go play Ultimate, or who are the ones that, salespeople have been selling their whole lives. Whether we're selling our friends or handling objections with our parents or, figuring out ways around problems. Another trait we look for in salespeople is tenacity. And it's the dog-like work ethic to get over, under, or around any obstacle put in your path. The salespeople need to have that tenacity because you're going to get hit with brick walls all the time, but you can go over the wall, you can go under the wall, you can go around the wall, but you're going to get another brick wall. And it's another trait is, can they regulate their emotions, right? Do they have that fundamental ability to handle short-term pain for long-term gain, right? That's handling the rejection. It's their CRM breaking down. It's, whatever. Those are things that we might look for.
You talked a bit about that kind of trained skill portion. And what I was going to ask earlier is the fact that you've been highly exposed to these environments around direct selling from the college pro painters and all these different organizations. How essential, or for anybody kind of tuning in, wanting to refine their skills, how essential do you find going into a path of direct sales or any kind of these entrepreneurial, highly sales focused ventures to support you in being more successful later in life?
I'll tell you, some of the most successful individuals I've met in the business world came out of an organization called Cutco or Vector Marketing.
Yeah. I've talked
Fuck
to a lot of
me,
those.
man. They just consistently impress me. And in fact, if you want to get a few guests on your show, let's get John Rulin, who's the biggest, most successful Cutco salesperson in history, millions and millions of dollars a year doing knives. He's got a book out called Giftology. Get Brad Weimart, who did very well in sales. He runs a company called Easy Pro Direct. He does he does all the payment processing for Tony Robbins, like for big,
Oh,
Grant
wow.
Cardone's. Get Hal Elrod, who I co-authored the Miracle Morning for Entrepreneurs with. These are all former Cutco people. So what they learned was referral-based sales at Cutco. And that's a really interesting art, right? You got direct sales, you got handling objections, you got dealing with price stuff, you got managing the sales flow or the funnels and using CRMs. Those are all good skills to have. But the ability to generate referral-based sales is gold. Because if you're constantly sitting waiting for the organization to give you more leads, right? The Glengarry, Glen Ross, here are the leads. That only goes so far. But if you're able to take every happy customer you've got and turn those happy customers into more referrals, that's power.
Mm.
And there's a science, I think there's a not a science behind it, but I think there's a script, there's a playbook. You can put playbooks in place to generate referrals.
And I think that was the beauty about that organization is the whole like sharpening of the knives, giving you a great reason to get back in front of your past customers for those referrals. That was genius.
Oh, they also started the process at the very beginning. Even before they were selling the first client, they said, by the way, when I come to your home to demonstrate the knives, I'm going to be asking you for 5 to 7 referrals. So get your address book out, but you're going to be so wowed with our process, I will be asking you. So they haven't even started selling and they're telling you they're asking for referrals. Because what they recognized was selling a set of knives to one person was not as valuable as getting that person to give you 7 referrals. It was all referrals.
Wow.
Hardcore, yeah. So they seeded it. They used persuasion. They used small little gifts. Then they'd be like, okay, you've given me 5. If you give me 5 more, I'll give you this cheese grater or a apple peeler, like a $5
Wow.
gift if you give me 5 more referrals, right?